in tight sync, and you're not spending a lot of time just trying to get everybody on the same page, you know?
Totally. Well, before we dive deeper into that, I just got notice that our special guest will be arriving in a few minutes.
Oh,
I know. And for everyone, our special guest, as we announced, is Flav, who has been just so awesome in creating starter packs and feeds and teaching everyone about DNS, which is just amazing.
That's something we made him do that.
Yeah. So really excited. And so we'll talk a little bit more about how our infra is holding up, how we think about team building. But we'll do that after Flav comes in. But maybe a little bit before that, Paul, we can do quick intros of each other for everybody who's new.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Cool.
So this is Rose, AKA Rotisserie Chicken.
Please don't call me that, everyone else.
I'm in now. I'm making that one stick.
I know. So much power, Paul.
Rose is the COO at Bluesky, which means that, broadly speaking, you kind of handle everything that doesn't involve code, more or less. A lot of the business stuff, a lot of taking meetings, a lot of coordinating within the team, stuff like that. I think that's a fair summary of it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. With 20 people, it's kind of true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, Paul is the guy who built the app. He built the first version of the app that got to about 40,000 users, 100,000. I don't even remember. Now he's a CTO, and good job on the app. And he frequently works with React Native, and he and Daniel Holmgren co-authored the app protocol, which we'll talk about later with Jay. And then the fun fact about Paul that I always like to talk about is that he's a theater major.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Which is relevant because we've been getting a whole lot of theater kid energy accusations. I don't know where that's coming from. It's so unfair and completely accurate. Yeah. Was that?
No. I think.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
Demonstrating.
Major, easy pivot into tech, as you do. It's kind of like an acting role that went too far, but
acting never stopped.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to be real about it. Just method acting. Yeah. Also, like, the app that I built, to be clear, that was kind of like, well, we need somebody to build an app, and I was the one that had some front end experience, so I got pulled in to do it. It kind of sounds like more than it is to say that I'm the one that built the app. I was the first coder on it, and then thank God we got really excellent team to actually take it over and make it something good. We got it going.
Got it going. Yeah.
Got it going.
And I think that we'll talk more about this later, but lots of people are asking, like, how big is your team? There's so many people. And actually, if you look at a lot of social startups, it is just a few people or one person who's running it these days. And I think that's the really exciting part about running businesses and starting businesses these days, is that you don't need the teams or the money that you needed back then. And obviously a plug for Bluesky Net Protocol is if you build your social experience on top of that protocol, you access like 22.5 million users immediately. So you don't have that cold start problem. So,
I mean, this is obviously like, don't want to sound like a pitch, but this is totally where we're trying to go with it, right? That at some point, being able to build an application like Bluesky, but then like reuse the network is just like a really big part of what we're trying to make happen here. Because somebody just said cold start problem. That's exactly right. Like, how do you, breaking through is a really hard part. You're always fighting the network effects side of things. So being able to jump into an existing network and get a lot of that stuff out of the box seems like a really valuable thing if you're trying to make sure that there's like lots of opportunity for folks to keep moving things forward. I feel like a lot of the kind of like a lot of apps really slowed down. Like, we stopped seeing new stuff because it just kind of solidified in some of the major players, and it's because this stuff got closed down the way that it did. So being able to go back to having that open thing, go back to good ideas coming from outside of the company that started it in the first place, just seems like the right way to take things,
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. we have some special guests joining us, so I want
That
to.
happened now.
It's happening-ish now.
Okay.
So I don't really want to jump into the next topic until
We got to choose a good vamping topic here.
I know. Maybe we should play the song. People have been sending songs about Bluesky. So
Is that right?
yeah.
I haven't heard this.
Yeah.
Is it safe for streaming?
No, some maybe.
Good. I'm glad. You know, if it was suitable for work, I'd be a little bit disappointed.
Yeah. And we also, for everyone else here, not only is Flavor Flav coming, but I believe that Jay is also going to make an appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The CEO herself.
Yeah.
Had to pull some strings for that one.
Yeah, totally. Not just ping her on Slack.
Oh yeah, I should explain my t-shirt. So we are chronically low on swag. It's like my greatest, it's the biggest tragedy. We actually don't have official shirts. I made this myself. I made this like, oh man, it was, I think it was in 2022 that I made this. We still didn't actually have an app yet. We weren't even sure if we were building an app. We started off just like as a protocol company. We were designed to make the technology app protocol that everything's built on. So there was a period where we did not necessarily know what we were going to be doing. And so I made this shirt to kind of capture that moment, which is Bluesky, a blank company with insert logo here, just as a way to capture that moment. All right, I think we got our first. Jake, can you give me a thumbs up? You ready to go? Let's do it. Hey!
Hey!
You crash the party?
For sure.
Party! Awesome, Jay. It's so good to have you.
What's the talk show tonight?
Yeah. We're vamping. We're waiting for our special guest here. So I was explaining the t-shirt and how you remember when I put this together? It was like 2022.
Oh, yeah, no logo.
Yeah. I think we should have stuck with this. Just like, yeah. Okay, here we go. Flavor Flav, can you give me a thumbs up? You ready to go? Let's do this.
Oh, baby boy. welcome to the, hey, not the only, this ain't the only, the great place. This is the best place. What's up?
It is, yeah.
Oh, apparently it's the best.
How y'all doing? What's going on?
It's
We're
good to
doing
see you.
all right. We're doing all right. How about you?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Operation No Doubt is now in progress, hanging in there like a coat in the closet, baby, ready to make it happen.
Nice. We usually just say good, but that was pros, right?
We got to bring some of that energy into our team things for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, can I tell you guys what y'all looking at right now? Can I tell you what y'all really looking at right now?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Your brand new piece of dynamite that's getting ready to blow this thing up, baby. Let's blow up. Boom. Let's blow it up to smithereens, baby. Let's go.
Greatest hype man in the world.
Hey yo, so that's you. You call?
What's up?
What's your name? You
Oh,
call?
I'm Paul.
Oh, you Paul.
Yeah.
Oh, you Paul. But you the one that built this thing, right?
I'm one of many.
Hey, can I tell you something? I don't care what nobody say, but remember back in the days when there was a camera called Minolta?
I don't.
Okay, there was a camera company called Minolta, and the commercial was the mind of Minolta. You got the mind of Minolta, bro. You got the mind of the future, G. This is incredible, man. Hey, listen, great job, man, on what you and whoever else helped you create this thing. It's a great thing y'all did, man. That's all I gotta say, man. And I really hope that this thing really, really blows up larger than expected,
I appreciate you so much. Yeah, this is this is 100% a team thing. So Jay was there right from the beginning. Lots of folks that are already here. But I'm so enthused that you're here with us and like feeling what we're up to because I kind of can't believe that you're here.
Hey, you know what? I can't believe I'm here either. You know, I can't believe you're here with me.
It's great. It's so cool.
Wait,
This is
Flavor,
a big this is a big honor, man. You know what I'm saying? Word up, man. I'm talking to the future Elon Musk or the future Zuckerberg or something. I don't know. But this is the beginning stages of this thing right now, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna
Absolutely.
tell you something. The beginning stages is the best stages, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just happy to be part of it, man. So
Well, we're so
you
glad to
get
have
nothing
you.
but a you get nothing but a thumbs up from your boy Flav, you know what I'm saying? Word up, man. And you
Awesome.
know, I'm gonna see how many people, man, that I can get to come on with us, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to, get as
Yeah.
many as I can to come join in with us, man, and come join this train for this ride, bro. Because this look like it's gonna be a real good ride right here, man.
I hope so. We're doing our best.
Man,
Absolutely.
you ain't got the hope, man. You can already know so. Look at the way you're starting off right now. It's not at a bad start.
No, it is not. No, it's feeling pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, we
You
really
know,
appreciate you coming on, just lending your energy. Like, it's been great. It's so fun.
that's right. This is a great start. And I just want to say you that I don't think we'll ever in life be alive to see the finish.
oh my
I
God.
also hope so.
Our goal is to,
Yeah.
build this thing, put it out there, let other people build on it, like take it further. This is the way social should be. It's social, right? Everyone should participate. Everyone should make it their own, take a piece of it, run with it.
Yes, that's what I say. Take it like a football and run a touchdown with it, man. You know what I'm saying? And let's take the points and spread it amongst all of us.
Totally. Flavor, you're here with Jay, who's the CEO, Paul, the CTO, and then me, I'm the COO. And so we are so excited to talk to you. But first, how did you find Bluesky?
Well, let me tell you like this. You know what I'm saying? I have a manager. You know what I'm saying? And my manager has her head into everything. And she's the one that turned me on to you guys.
She's
You know
awesome.
what I'm saying? And I'm glad that she did. You know what I'm saying? Because I've never really, been big in working the social media thing. You know what I'm saying? And, she's always worked my social media.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So she's the one that turned me on to this. And boy, am I glad that she did because, man, I brought quite a few people on board so far. You know what I'm saying? My partner Chuck D, and also, I don't know if y'all know the group Twisted Sister, but my boy D Schneider, he's with us. I got a whole lot of other people that's with us, and I got a whole lot of other people, man, that I'm really going to be bringing into the process.
Yeah, we heard that you did bring over Chuck D, and who's the member and co-founder of Public Enemy. So how did you bring him over? How'd you convince him?
How did I convince him? I called him up and I said, "Hey, yo, Chuck, check this out, man. There's a brand new program, man. You know what I'm saying? Called Bluesky, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's a great platform. You know what I'm saying? Socially, bro. And I think you really, really need to get on this because my partner Chuck D stays on."
That was a good part of the story.
I know. I was so in it. I was so psyched to. Oh no.
We'll bring Flavor Flav back.
We'll chill. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna pull-
Clearly, Paul didn't build this app, right?
that you're being too nice.
Well, while we wait, Jay, Paul and I talk to you every day, but it's great for everyone. Oh,
No. All right.
okay. But do you want to talk a little bit about just the story of Bluesky, the founding? I think it's awesome to hear from you.
Well, I don't want to start a long story if Flavor Flav's going to come back, but let's see. What's the short version of it is, Twitter announced Bluesky was a project in 2019, and then basically chose me to lead it like mid-2021. I had never worked for Twitter. I was an outside decentralized social network researcher building a separate social network. And then I ended up spinning out a separate entity because old Twitter moved pretty slowly, and there was some uncertainty about how much commitment they would have to the project long term. And I thought, look, if we're neutral, if we're outside of Twitter, then we can go around and talk to other companies, other protocols, work with people sort of as we wish as our own entity. That turned out to be a really good call because
we got Flav back.
oh, awesome. Let's go.
So, you know what we need to create too?
What?
Y'all need to create something to where if somebody was to be calling while we doing this,
Yeah.
don't knock you out the box. Then you got to rejoin. Oh my God, that was hey man, I'm like, man, how do I get back? How do I get back? Because somebody was trying to call me and I sent them the voicemail. And when I sent them the voicemail, it knocked me out the box totally. So I had to come out and rejoin again.
No worries.
So we got to recreate something, man, to where this don't happen because I don't like to get cut off from y'all, man.
No, we were right in the middle. We were all waiting to hear you tell us about Chef D coming on, and
yeah. So anyway, so my partner Chuck, man, yo, he lives on social media, man. You know what I'm saying? In the whole night, and I told him, man, I said, listen, man, this will be the next greatest thing, man, that you ever did in your life, bro. Word up, you know what I'm saying? To be reaching just as many people as you reach on Twitter and Instagram, you know what I'm saying? And the whole nine. I mean, so Chuck definitely likes it, man. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I could try to bring him on the next meeting that we have if we have another one.
That'd be great.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
I gotta say, like the amount of like positive energy you bring to kind of everything you do is like the kind of stuff that I like am dying for on social media. So I am so glad that you're coming in and bringing that kind of energy into all of this. And you recently what was it you did with the women's polo team at the Olympics? You started giving them some like a sponsorship, right?
Right. I sponsored the United States women's Olympic water polo team. And not only that, but I'm their sponsor until 2029.
Wow.
Very nice.
Hey, and check this out. I got a real good piece of news for y'all. Y'all ready for this one?
Yeah.
Now, while we was over in Paris, because Snoop was over there doing his thing. And I mean, he did a great job representing, being an ambassador and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And Snoop did carry the torch. You know what I'm saying? For a second. Well, in 2028, when Olympics come to LA, your boy Flavor Flav is going to be able to carry the torch.
No kidding.
Oh my God.
That is such an honor. Oh my God.
So it's a bragging right. It's a bragging right. It's a bragging right for Flavor Flav, and not only I, but Bluesky. Yeah, G. It's going down. Cool. It's going down for real.
Gotta get you a t-shirt.
Yes, it's going down for real. But listen, it's nice talking to you guys, man. You know what I'm saying? In the whole nine. I got to get ready to run. I just wanted to jump on here, though, and say hi to you guys real quick and everything. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to say to Paul and you and Jay, whoever created this thing, yo, great job that y'all did. I'm glad that y'all did this. And I'm going to do whatever I can to really, really help blow this thing out the water, man.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it so much.
No doubt. Y'all take care. On the GB, God bless. You heard? Happy Thanksgiving. Have a great Christmas when it comes around, and the most prosperous New Year.
Same to you.
Thank you so much. Likewise.
Blessings.
You got it. Talk to you guys later. All right, peace.
See ya.
See ya.
Wow.
That just made my year.
All right. Such a kind person.
I also wish I spoke in rhymes and prose. Like, wow. That was amazing.
We got some catching up to do, clearly.
Totally. Well, Jay, do you want to go back to your story and then we'll continue on?
Yeah, sure. Where were you guys before?
We were just talking a little bit about what the last week has been like, and then a little bit of intros to me and Paul, and then Flav came on. So you are just joining in. So, I think you should just finish your story about the Bluesky founding, and then we're going to talk a little bit about this last 2 weeks on the infra side and how we think about team growth, and then take some questions.
Sure. Yeah. Let's see. What did I get to? so yeah, we spun out a separate company, and then basically we were contracting for Twitter for a while. So we were building a protocol that Twitter could run on. That explains a lot of the design choices we made. This is why it also, the app we ended up building looks a lot like Twitter, because we were going for that goal of something that you could seamlessly move people used to using Twitter on over to. And so that, there's a lot of things in the decentralized social space, if you're familiar with it, that's, you have to teach users how to use. Already there's some stuff you have to learn how to use, like the domain name verification, stuff like that. But there's a lot more complexity that we've actually tried to hide and stick to stuff that's going to benefit people immediately. And so that was all with that in mind. Like, how could we run something that people wouldn't have to think about and could just shift over to using? And then we ended up taking a sort of unexpected path of just building an app and going ahead and letting people come over sort of on their own outside of the whole Twitter ecosystem. And I think social just, we need more resilience, we need more variety, we need more innovation, and we need more people building on it and working on it. And so, us being separate from Twitter was a tiny bit of decentralization that let us keep doing what we're doing now. And, my hope is that there's tons more experimentation that happens in social, in the app protocol ecosystem, in and around Bluesky, because the reason we made everything open source is that's how, you can get in here and see what's going on and, have a view into how this works, to build versions of it yourself, to really try to build in social. I think as I try to get this across to people and tell the story of what we did, how we did it, where we're going, a big piece of it is just trying to overcome people's sense of social media as just one person is going to run this huge platform for everyone forever. And then maybe we'll fight over who controls that. The goal is really to build something where this Bluesky ultimately doesn't all come down to me. It comes down to everyone who's building in this ecosystem. And maybe there's this app called Bluesky and it looks like Twitter. And, it's pretty big, it's pretty cool. We get a lot of cool people on it, but then there's apps around it. And then there's, feeds. People can build their own views. People can build their own moderation systems. And it just takes on a life of its own. And that's what's going to keep social something that serves people, when people can actually build it themselves. So yeah, got me talking about the intro to why I did this. And I always have to go back to why I think it's important, because I do think it's super important right now.
Yeah. I mean, this is the vision that you set in motion right from the get-go and was clear, right from the start. And now it's just finding all the different ways to explain it. It comes across real clear to folks. Lately I've been digging the cell phone analogy, where you sign up with Verizon or AT&T or whatever, but nobody thinks about it in those terms. You're just using your phone. And it's kind of hey, that should be how social media works, right? It's just the one network. Doesn't matter who you're using to get onto this thing. It's all shared across all this stuff. And then on top of that, you can switch between, I could switch from AT&T to Verizon. I keep my phone, I keep my number, whatever, keep all my contacts. So it's not jamming me up. I could just make a choice and it's all part of the same thing. And that's kind of the most intuitive way to think about it. We should have that for social networks. It seems kind of obvious when you put it that way. Yeah, that's how this should work. You shouldn't get locked into one of these things.
Yeah, it's very much the, if you can open, if you're on LinkedIn, why can't you message someone on Facebook? These are the walled gardens that we talk about, is that once you're on a platform, you're kind of you only have that identity on that platform, and everything you build in that world stays in that world. And what happens if you open up that world where the data is open? And so I think it's really hard to talk about in the abstract, but oftentimes for myself, I think about in social life, I want to know what my friends are reading. I want to know of the foods that they're ordering, which ones they like over others. Same thing. I think we've seen this on the dating apps. That's hugely helpful in understanding who's a friend of a friend. But all of this is built on top of social data. And if all of that were open, think about all the experiments that either apps or new apps could be built. And that's what we're really excited about, is let's break out of the four walls of an app or how we think about social, but actually build a world around it. And I think one of the first use cases of this that we have been showing folks is the comment section of blogs. Comment sections tend to be cesspools, right? Because they're unmoderated, and Uh, imagine if
Accurate.
you use the comment section of your Bluesky post that's already moderated and everyone you've already blocked then gets automatically transferred to either your WordPress blog or wherever else you're hosting your blog. So we're really excited about all the potential ways social can open up.
Yeah, Emily, somebody on our team has that. Like her blog posts, when you look at the bottom, it's just, she posts the blog post like on her Bluesky account, and then the comments on that just go right in. So she's straight away getting just replies from Bluesky right in there. It works really well. And like, she does not really, it's just her using the app. So if she blocks somebody, if she hides a reply, stuff like that, that can apply just straight in there. Makes it really, really easy. So it's weird, actually. It's kind of convenient. We're focused on the big abstract, sort of like how can we make the whole system better, but the reality is that's just easy for her, and it's nice whenever you can get that kind of like overlapping value out of it.
Totally. I'm going to move us along to we've talked about what we want it to be. What is next, Paul?
Oh yeah. We wanted to, Jay, we're thinking about talking about the presence stuff a little bit here. So like, y'all know about the domain names that everybody's account is like, has their own domain, and it's not like everybody's a website, but it's pretty close. It's kind of like that. But we can't actually just put websites on these things. Like my account, for instance, on pfrazee.com, it's actually a website too. So like if you open it up in your web browser, you're going to get my blog. And so what we're playing with right now internally, we're still kind of working on this, but like how easy can we make it to go to somebody's profile and be like, all right, just open up the website there too. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which is super interesting because like in a kind of a MySpacey way, you can start to do whatever the heck you want, right? You can express yourself in all kinds of ways. You can start doing those CSS snippets getting dumped in there, stuff like that. So there's a lot of like really cool things you can do there, just like having fun. Get your link tree going, right? Whatever it is that you're kind of all about. If you got a blog, you could put it there.
I have a point to make here, which is like Linktree and stuff like this exists because it's really hard to link up, your web presence with your socials on other social sites. And basically the web, back as in the day of like anyone can put up a website, all the blogs link to each other, like that more open vision of the web has kind of gotten closed down over the years. And what we're all about is bringing that back to social. And so it's a re-envisioning of social using open web principles. So it's not like it looks like a blog or like you're getting strong MySpace vibes from it immediately or anything like that. But it's sort of that idea that you can link to anything, right? So like we don't downrank your links. Like we love links because the idea is that your Bluesky profile is like your personal blog. It's your microblog. And, you can do stuff with that, even if it's within the interface that we're showing that's pretty, all of them look pretty standard. But from there, you can go and build your own website, or you can link to different sites. Like it doesn't matter. It's just about interconnecting and having, this sort of be the portal into a mode of social that works more like the open model of the web. And I think that's pretty important to hold on to, even as technologies change. Like we want to remember like what's been most transformative and inspiring about the open web, and how do we keep that with us as technology transforms?
Yeah. Awesome. I'm going to move forward because we have 25 minutes. And so there's a bunch of questions that have come in. So I'm going to start asking some of these questions. And since we're talking about the roadmap, there's some questions around future features. So the first question is, will Bluesky have group chats and channels like Discord?
I think,
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's not commit to features because really, the number of people on the team, like kind of what the last week has been like for us. So I think the honest answer is we kind of just prioritize like pretty quickly and with a strong focused scope based on like what's most important for us to pursue. And so, a lot of this stuff we would love to do. And like, it's not just group chats. There's tons of features we would love to build, stuff we would love to add. And it's hard to say in any given moment which one is most going to win out. I will say that if you as a user really care about a feature and you're like, this is the thing that makes the difference for me and my friend group, be sure to file a ticket in support. Like we do record all the requests for stuff. We've prioritized stuff in the past based on what we've gotten the most sort of requests for. So we do listen. We're just trying to listen in aggregate to a lot of stuff. So be sure to make your case, and we're hearing you.
There's also like some other apps, like other clients that people have made that sometimes get ahead of us. There's Deck Blue, which is like a TweetDeck style of thing, right? Like the multi-column kind of thing. There's one called the Skeets app. Rose, help me out, or Jay, what are the other ones that are out there? There's one other that's like kind of popular. I can't think of the name right now. There's a couple of those that have things like drafts in there. They get ahead of us on trending topics, stuff like that. Definitely.
A lot of people are asking like, hey, I want to find my Twitter followers or X followers on Bluesky, and Skybridge is a tool that you can use as a third-party dev built. We have a community showcase of a ton of different projects that other developers have built. And so we want you guys to check that out, and we'll can't send it out.
Let's drop the link in the post underneath the live stream link.
Yeah, we can drive, and then also Eric and Sam are in the comments, so they can also drop the link in the comment section right now.
It may have link power, I don't know. We gotta lock that thing down.
Oh, right, there's no links in Twitch chats. That's right. Okay, well, thank you, Jay. And I think this is the thing is like, oftentimes people tell companies like, you have to talk to your users to know what they want. We're like, well, we have an app for that. And so please communicate with us through the app about what you are looking for.
I will say that support tickets and the channels that we've set up do work better. Like early on, we did a lot more in-app, but it's kind of just sitting in the middle of a fire hose of information now. So absolutely no guarantee that tagging us will result in us seeing anything, because we get about 1 million tags a day.
Yep.
Okay, the link did work. Okay, so our mods were able to drop in some links.
Awesome.
Oh, perfect. Great. And then I think the general, what Jay said about product features is it's hard for us to commit to anything. And so I think there's a lot of questions around like, can we upload longer videos, et cetera, et cetera. And I think the general take here is that like a lot of the things you guys want, we want too. It's just about the order of operations. And there's also different costs associated with different features. So like video streaming is extremely expensive, and we're an extremely small company. And so we're excited to see with subscriptions what we can support. And so there's tons of like things that we're trying as a small team to be able to meet your needs as quickly as possible. So something that has come up a lot, and I think this is going to take a little bit of time to talk about, but people don't really understand how we do verification in Bluesky. And this has been a topic of conversation over and over again. And so maybe we could just start talking about what we think about verification today and then where it's headed.
For sure. So right now there's kind of two things that we do to handle the verification side of things. First of all, the domain names, which are a good part of the story. Like I said, everybody's got a domain name for their username. If it's something like nytimes.com, that's actually them, right? There's nobody else that can have that other than the people who actually own that website. So that's a good starting signal to be going off of. The other half of what we do is we do moderate impersonation. There's a lot of things going on, so it's kind of tough to keep on top of it all the time, but that is the thing that happens. So sometimes you'll see little impersonation tag put on folks whenever they are faking it. So we do that. Now, where it's going to go. Jay, do you have any thoughts about what we've been talking about? I can riff about some of the meetings about this, or if you want to take the lead on that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing to understand probably here is that we could be a verification provider, and we might at some point. Also, no, not sure when, but it would be something where you're accessing through one app, and then there might be another app, and then there might be other services, and then they can choose to trust us and like the Bluesky team's verification, or they could do their own, or other people could do their own. And so part of the trickiness of the year is seeing like how we're going to display those verification signals, whatever form they take. Are they going to be badges? Are they going to be, things that, show up in the UX? And if we do it as the Bluesky app, does every other app do the same thing? Then do they layer on different ones or kind of spread them out? So these are some of the sort of design challenges in ecosystem where we're trying to design long-term for more applications, more services beyond our own to operate. That doesn't mean that, we can't do it at some point. It's just that, we have to think through these things in advance. And we have had some discussions around this, but the easiest way to do it and not rely on us or anyone else right now is to do the domain name thing. So we've been encouraging everyone to do that, because there's no surer way. Like, even eventually if we're doing it, people have always had questions around, like, why did this person get verified and I didn't get verified? And there might end up being multiple verification services, like some that, only do, 20 a day, and some that, do everyone, and some that verify you for all sorts of different sort of affiliations, right? And so, those are all possibilities long-term. And I think this is just a matter, again, of priorities and also seeing what direction things evolve in.
Yeah. I do think it's important to say that, we've only had really one type of verification system on social in the past, and there hasn't been much innovation around that, where it's almost like a binary, like, are you this status or not? And so what we want to experiment with is, how do we make more like equitable in like many more types of verification processes that aren't just one or the another, and having lots of different providers as part of that ecosystem.
Yeah, without it being too confusing, and so then, like, Bluesky verifies you is like one signal, and then it might be like this other verification service, verified someone else or verified me as well. And then, my university verified me or something like that. You could have institutions, just like they can issue you a domain name, which is kind of a verification essentially. They could issue you a badge or something like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the delegated model I think is super interesting. Like, if the bsky.app account were able to verify, like, to issue verifications to everybody that's on the Bluesky team, then it's not that I got to get verified by Bluesky. It's just that, the company does. And then the company can, like, handle the, no, get out of here. I hate these things. But yeah, it's...
Storm.
Yeah, it's great.
We kind of do this with the domain system. So I'm j.bsky.team. Some people are too cool for school over here and not on the bsky.team, Frazee.com. But the option for, folks to have a team verification, although we don't our policy is not to impose it uniformly on everyone across the company. So it's just something that, people have verified at Swifties.social after a sort. And all that you're saying with that is saying, I'm a part of the Swifties fan community, right? And so there's a lot of different signals you can put out there, either through the domain name system or through new interfaces.
I do think that's a really fun thing to get into, like what the Swifties.social thing is doing, which is, it's not really verification, but it is fandom, right?
Like social signaling, verification is a form of social signaling to varying degrees of strength. Like, the strongest can be we've vetted you, we know you're the right person, you're the real whatever, and this organization that's credible has issued this. But it comes down to a trustworthy organization issuing it, and then you trust the badge because you trust that organization at the end of the day. And on other apps, you don't really think about that because, the organization builds everything in the app. And so literally everything you're seeing on the page is built by the organization that built the app. But here it might be, you're seeing different feeds, you're seeing different, moderation services, different labels come up, and, we didn't build all of that. Those are open interfaces that a lot of people have built on.
Yeah. Speaking of moderation, we've been getting a lot of questions about lists. There are some accounts creating block lists and then maliciously adding accounts to trick people. We should talk a little. Paul.
Yeah. So we have a terms of service for list creation as well. So yeah, list creation has to, follow our community guidelines here. And, I think that there's, community guidelines don't cover all bad behavior though, right? If they did, social networks would always be awesome and we would never have any problems. So there's certain, baselines that we set around lists, around content, around behavior. And then, I think there's all sorts of forms of behavior that can range outside of that. And so it's important to, if you're using a list or if you're looking at a list, to think about who made it. Do I trust this person at the end of the day? Because I'm relying on some signals that they're putting out there. And, is this a trusted member of my community?
Yeah, that's really key. Make sure you're feeling what this, if you don't know the account, maybe take a second. You can try it. Certainly one way you could do it is like doing a mute instead of a block whenever you're first trying something out to kind of just see, is this right? And then if you run into something like they shouldn't be muted, then that gives you a chance to like, okay, this is not what I'm feeling. But yeah, it's one of those things where there's definitely some tricky parts to that, making sure that it does what you want, but it's also super worth it. Like having those tools for communities to kind of work together to help each other have a good time on the internet, kind of need all the help you can get. So it's definitely, there are pros and cons, but the pros way outweigh the cons.
Yeah, we try to think about communities as a more first-class part of social networks. And, this isn't built in a super structured, deep way. Like we don't, force you to pick one community and stick to it or anything like that. But a lot of this moderation tooling, a lot of the way we think about building is around, social is communal. It's not just about individuals. And if we have to, say, and if you think of social as just all sorts of individuals connecting, then, each individual might have to be responsible for everyone they mute or block. And that's a lot of work placed on each person, and you have to replicate it. And actually people who all hang out and talk and are friends tend to share the same preferences. And so you might all want to mute the same kinds of things, or you might all want to subscribe to the same sorts of things. So that's why we have stuff like starter packs that lets you subscribe to all the people that your friend recommends, or stuff like lists that let you mute or block or label stuff that people you trust, So it's like building off this community concept. And then things can still go wrong in communities, but at least we're trying to build around this concept of we're not doing it. We're not all out there on our own. We're doing it with each other, and we can rely on people in our community who we trust for parts of, creating a better social experience for us.
Yeah. I think the meta point here too is we as a team take a lot of pointers from offline behaviors, watching how people behave socially, how communities engage, and bring a lot more of those behaviors and context to the online world. And so Jay and Paul have talked a lot about the different ways in which we're trying to do that, which is like starter packs. You don't want to go to a party with no one and then get landed into a huge party with all these celebrities that you can't talk to, right? And so then the starter packs is like, here's a group of people that are more friendly, and it's a much easier ease into the party. And so I think those are a lot of the ways in which we want to keep designing the app. And again, if you guys have more ideas, you can email us at support or tag us in the app.
We had some funny ideas along those lines that we didn't end up doing, but I think they're funny to share. One of them was having somebody that you would, especially back when we were doing the invites, it was like, could you have somebody that could be your buddy going into the application to help you get situated? Didn't quite work, but you can see where the logic is coming from. Like, how often do you go into a bar knowing nobody? It was like.
Yeah, but you know what did happen? Retroid built a Teams feed that randomly sorted all the users on the network at the time into a random team. And so you were just thrown into this. If you subscribed to this feed, you were thrown in with a random group of strangers, and that was your hangout space. And it was just a bunch of people who didn't know each other being like, hey, what's up? All right, team number 31, woohoo. It was cool. It was a fun experiment, Yeah,
I had a conversation at one point that was serious. Like, what if we had your class of November 25th, 2024, that's your group, and you would say hi to everybody. I was like, nah, that's probably not right. But you see where we're cooking from. You can see where it's coming from.
Totally. So we've talked about App Proto a lot, but I still think that for the everyday user, they're having a hard time imagining how App Proto affects their experience as an end user. So would love for each of us to maybe talk through a world for an end user, like how they could experience the atmosphere.
Yeah, I'll dive in. So first of all, stuff like this, one of the things I like to talk about is it's a big technology sort of thing. Whenever you are using an iPhone, you don't think about all the incredible, they came up with a new touchscreen right before when they launched the iPhone. That was a major enabling technology for that happening, right? But you don't think about it in terms of that. You just think of, oh, they've made a new device that feels great to use, right? So generally speaking, it should always just kind of be like, oh, there's new things happening here that I didn't used to be able to do. It should always just feel like a great experience. So I think probably there's two major ways it'll show up. One is stuff you already see inside the app now, like being able to have feeds that other people make. Like these are feeds behind the scenes. The cool thing that's happening is that people are like setting up their own server somewhere and running these things, and they can run their own logic. They can run their own algorithms to drive feeds. So now that just shows up as like something in the app that feels almost like a list, you know, you just press a little button and hey, now you're using this totally different algorithm than one we made, and you have choice over that algorithm. It's crazy to think that that's actually the whole system, like us talking to a whole third party to bring that down. And but you don't even have to think about it. The other way that I think it'll just show up in a big way is just all the different kinds of tools and apps that other people will be able to make and just be able to add into what's going on here. And, you know, like the time horizon is long. At some point, I actually like to hope that somebody's going to make a better version of like what we're doing with Bluesky. Hopefully long after I'm, you know, moved on. And other people will just be like, oh, great, I'm just going to switch over to this thing. No big deal. That's it. They just, you know, press a button. Maybe they have to migrate their account. Maybe they don't. You know, it could just be like, oh, I'm just going to log in with this thing instead. And then whatever it is that group after us is coming up with that's better, you just have that now. It's just a better experience. And then again and again and again, and like keeps everything kind of like staying close to like what people are looking for in any given moment, because tastes change, needs change. You know, that's what I think about.
Yeah, I also want to recall that the reason we named it the app protocol, because early on we were calling it the authenticated data experiment and some other wonky things.
Good.
The reason we called it the app protocol is, you know, we're envisioning a future where you can say like, where are you at? And then you have a shared identity standard that you can just look up somebody's username, which can be their domain name built on something that's already been around for, you know, decades, which is the website, you know, domain name system. And then you can look them up at that. And that's their handle across multiple social apps. And they're that, you know, I'm j.com on Bluesky, on, you know, Green Sky, on all these other things, on, you know, different apps that are like with photos, videos, you know, maybe a VR game and stuff. And then you can just message me there. And, you know, there's all sorts of stuff that you can do within the suite of things that connect around the user being the center of your relationship online, rather than the company and the app, each app being a silo, each user having to go from silo to silo. It's the user and your username. And then you have these relationships with all these applications, which you use as your service providers, just like you might use, you know, Verizon or AT&T or whatever, but you still have your cell phone number, and that's the same cell phone number, whether you switch providers or not. And so the goal is for that world to exist so that you can keep your identity with you. You can keep, you know, your data as you move across similar applications, and have a good time trying out new stuff and connect with people who might have different preferences from you, because, you know, we don't have to have everyone in the same application to have a global public square. We just need a protocol that lets all these isolated squares talk, and then we can have users be the center of the conversation.
Totally. And when you talk about like users choosing, is one of the things that came first to mind for me is, and I think when we first started, we didn't show the likes tab. Like you can't see, I don't know that, or I something like that.
We show it to you now. Yeah.
But in the past, if we didn't have that and you care about that, there was an app called Gray Sky that then similar to Bluesky and then had a likes tab that you can use. And so it's that level of customization where if we don't have it, rather than trying to petition us to build what you want, we've given you the tools to go build it. And I think the other thing about social is that oftentimes people think about social within, and we keep talking about these four walls, it's an app, there's some like cool feature that then dominates or like defines that social behavior. But the thing that we think about social is that it's made up of many different elements, algorithms, the feeds, the moderation service, the comment section. And so if you could actually break each of these components up and plug and play with them, then it's like, okay, I can use my Bluesky post comments on my blog post. I can take the fire hose of data to go see what friends of friends are going to X show, or listening to this song on, this on Spotify, or, whatever else. And so it's kind of just breaking it open, and we're giving you the toolbox. We call it the social toolbox for users and developers to go build. And right now, you do need to be a little bit more technical to build most experiences, but our hope is in the future, you don't even need to be technical. There's these like plug and play, apps or different things that you can just build without needing to, go for it.
I will say you don't even have to be technical today to build a feed. Like Skyfeeds has built a way for people to build feeds with just, typing in the keywords, putting in the list of accounts you want. Like there's a lot of customization options if you go check that out. And, that's exactly what we wanted to see happen. And we made sure that from the start, two of the things that I think are most important for you to customize are available for you to customize right now. And that's curation and moderation, which is what shows up in your timeline, what you see, what gets presented to you, and what you don't see, like what's getting hidden from you. Because social is all about connecting with people, but also showing you things. And so mainly when you sit down with a social app, it's putting stuff in front of you. And that's, taking up your, 22 hours, however long you sit down with that app for the day, is taking up your time and your attention. Everyone only has the same amount of attention in a day, and you want to spend it wisely. And you want control over that. Like, it's kind of crazy that we've given up control over what puts things in front of our faces every day. Because in the past, people would subscribe to different magazines, read different books, read different newspapers, and people would choose depending on, what they wanted. So having a marketplace of feeds, of moderation services lets you choose, just like sitting down and subscribing to a magazine. Like maybe today, I'm just in the mood for the cat feed. I'm just going to subscribe to the cat feed magazine, read that, and not bother with the news. And on another day, I want to catch up on the news. So I sit down with that. Or I sit down with the algorithm and see what Discover has to show me today. But leaving this up to the user and leaving it up to the developers to try new things, because I think this space of what we show people, what the algorithm shows people, has drastic implications for society, for what people know and understand and think about the world. And just having it locked up in one company has meant that no innovation has happened here for a long time. And now researchers, like from the University of Washington, from other places, they've taken a look at this and they've come in and they've started to say, how do we build algorithms that show people things that bring them together, that reduce polarization? Like, these are research experiments that you could only ever do in an academic setting and couldn't bring to the market until you have an app that lets you do it. So now you can just do that experiment on Bluesky, like try out this algorithm that these researchers built, see if it works, and then we can move faster as a society. We can all contribute to solving the problems that we see with social media, rather than waiting for petitioning or regulating a company to try to get them to do something differently.
Yeah, totally.
It's
Jay,
moving further up the stack. It's like, instead of having to make a whole app, you can just affect this one little bit, the algorithm, right? You don't have to make a whole app to put out a new algorithm into the world.
Yeah, that's an important piece of it. It's what puts stuff in front of you.
Well, Jay, we have a comment that you are such a role model, and people are so thrilled that you're leading this amazing team. And I wanted to read that out loud because I think Paul and I agree. So before we end, we have a request for the most important most important creature on the team.
She's sleeping right now, so this is a bit of a crime, but here we go.
Oh no.
I want to say that I really hope that, I just think people are so creative. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm the sole, savior with the vision or whatever. I think everyone should just be building, and like social media is something that if we want a better social media, we'll save it together. We'll build it together.
Yeah, it's about everybody.
The important person is here, the important creature is here.
Calling Kit a person. It's so funny.
What feature should we build next, Kit?
Yeah.
I'm not getting anything. All right.
She doesn't look like she's having it. Yeah.
No, she was sleeping. Oh.
I'm so sorry. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We're at time, so we're going to call it. Join us for our next one. Who knows who's going to be here?
Thank you, guys.